senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. All right, so he never actually pulled the trigger, but they found him convicted. They convicted him on all counts. Is he ever going to see the light of day again, or is he going to prison for the rest of his life?
I doubt he's going to see the light of day, but I hate to be the skunk at the garden party here. I don't think we're going to see the end of him, because some public defender will be engaged to file an appeal that by representing himself, his Eighth Amendment rights were violated because he didn't have advice of counsel. I know this sounds absurd. He rejected counsel. Judge Cannon very thoroughly examined him. Do you understand what you're doing? Do you understand what's going to happen to you if you're not a lawyer? Do you understand these lawyers work for you even though the government pays them? Yes, 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 yes. He didn't know what he was doing in the courtroom. He obviously is seriously mentally deficient in light of this attempt to kill himself with a pen, or maybe it wasn't an attempt to kill himself, but an attempt to do some harm to himself. All of that is going to be reviewed on appeal. However, the evidence of his guilt is truly overwhelming. He did nothing as his own lawyer to damage or even seriously challenge the government's case. But so the short answer to your question is he'll never see the light of day again. The longer answer is he's going to be around.
So here's another question regarding the charges and the counts that he was found guilty of. Of course, one of them, the most serious, being attempted murder of a major presidential candidate at the time. He never pulled the trigger. So how did the jury, in this case, kind of distinguish preparation and maybe thought process versus attempt?
Well,
because they found him guilty on attempt.
That is a superb question. That's a law school exam question, because the old rule on attempt was, an attempt means you're one step short of completion. So what would that step have been? Aiming it, pulling the trigger. When they saw him, he thought he was aiming at the president. He wasn't. He was trying to find the aim. I think in the minds of most people, because of all the preparation that went into that moment in time, in the minds of the jurors, that was sufficient for an attempt. But there are a few more steps he could have taken, God forbid, before he actually pulled the trigger. And I don't know if I've answered your question.
No, you did, yeah.
Well, I also wonder, going back to the appeal idea, I mean, this guy represented himself not well. He will now sit in prison probably trying to write appeals and file appeals from prison, left and right, trying to keep himself either out of prison or get out of prison.
Oh, Mark.
We're not going to hear you said it. We're not done with it.
He's going to have a team of public defenders that the American taxpayers will pay for, and they will file the appeal.
Oh.
And they will say, we have a client who's can't distinguish right from wrong, is entitled to a new trial. The defense should have been insanity, and he should have had lawyers in the courtroom. That's the argument. I think the appellate court will reject that argument, but it'll take a couple of years to get there.
So can I ask you about the other big story that happened yesterday? It kind of went under the radar with all of the Ryan Routh stuff. So Google reinstating banned YouTube accounts that were censored for political speech. Google admitting that the Biden administration pressed them to remove certain COVID-19 content. What do you make on this?
Here's what I make on it. In 1963, this is my column this week, which comes out tomorrow. In 1963, a long time ago, in a case involving Bantam Books, in which the government attempted to say to the publisher, silence your authors, we don't like what they're saying. Supreme Court said, can't do it. The government cannot do indirectly what it is prohibited from doing directly. So just as the government couldn't silence people who were critical of its COVID policy, it can't coerce the bulletin board, Google, to do the same. Google is now, 4 years later, recognizing that. Perhaps this Jimmy Kimmel incident will produce a rebirth of free speech in the United States, where the government doesn't pressure the people that own the microphones and the cameras to silence the people that are on it.
Well, as you and I talked about earlier this week, I think last week as well, it would have been a lot better if the FCC and government had not made the comments and just let Disney and ABC do what they had to do.
Free speech doesn't mean free as in without cost. It means free as in without the government. If the government stayed out of this, it's not a story. I mean, it's a story in the entertainment world. It's just between Disney and Kimmel. But because the government got involved, now it's a profound free speech story. And it's bigger than Jimmy Kimmel, because now it's reaching Google.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.